you so much for the inspiration. Love hearing about your story and your background and all the amazing accomplishments you've done to help develop a more inclusive community in Canada. Now I'd like to give the audience a chance to ask you any questions we have, because I'm sure we have a lot of things to be talking about and continue discussing. So we'll open the floor up to any open Q&A in the audience. Yes, Andrew.
Can you get a mic there? Thank you.
Sorry, let me start again. Hi, Dr. Vivian Poi. It's an honor to hear your story and meet you in person. And one of the questions I have after listening to your experiences is what would you say is one of your most difficult challenges that you had to learn and overcome from your time in the Senate, being the first Asian senator in Canada? Like, what did you learn from that experience, and how did you overcome any challenges from that?
I want to say that when I first got there, I was a curiosity. Some were glad that, a few were glad that I was there in the Red Chamber. Some just looked at me and wondered why I was there, and there were those who didn't think I should be in the Red Chamber at all. So it helps to be a very strong and stubborn person. I wasn't going to get pushed around, and I was just going to move ahead and do what I feel was right. And I did a lot because even before I had an office, I was receiving letters from constituents. And you know, what happened was, because I was the first Asian in the Senate, I was just adopted across the country. Everybody wanted me to do something for them, right across from sea to sea. And so, you know, instead of just representing Toronto, I was representing everybody. And I just, if there is any slight, I think it helps that I have the character that I have, that I can just ignore it. If there's a slight, I ignore it and I just move ahead. And I choose my friends. And that was how I got things done. It wasn't easy. Just getting my feet on the ground. The first few months, I lost a lot of weight, but I wasn't going to budge, because I was not going to let Asian Canadians down. Okay. A mic, please.
Dr. Paul?
Yes.
You introduced the Asian Heritage Month when you was the senator. Now 23 years passed. Up to now, you see that Asian in Canada will be treated more fairly and more reasonably. What do you think about it?
Well, definitely we have visibility. We cannot be ignored anymore. And it actually, I'm happy when I turn on CBC every morning in May and they announce that it's Asian Heritage Month and we celebrate Asians this month. That to me is extremely important. And the fact that the federal government celebrates Asian Heritage Month every May, because it doesn't matter what communities do, if you don't have the federal government recognizing you, you can still be ignored. And we cannot be ignored anymore. We are very much part of Canadian heritage, whereas before we didn't exist. It's extremely important. Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Poi,
Hi.
I would like to ask, do you have any advice for Asian youths today?
Well, the advice would be the same as to any youth. Do, first of all, make friends. Learn how to get along in life, because that is 50% of your success. You can get A's in every subject. And if you don't know how to deal with people, you would be in a hole for the rest of your life. So I always say to, especially when I speak to high school students, and they need to know how to, how to reach out. My advice is volunteer. Volunteer, but not only with your own ethnicity in your own little group. Go out, volunteer, and make friends with everyone. Because when I think back, I mean, I wasn't a politician. I was never interested in politics. I guess it was just what I did in the community that was noticed. And I was appointed to the Senate. Now, the system is different now. It's changed. Now you have to apply like a job. But in my day, when I was in the Senate, people who were active in the community and people who work with the poor, there was a nun who was in the Senate with me. And there was a, times have really changed, but I remember there was one Métis senator who said she was just working with Métis. She was in northern, I think, Alberta, and she said she used to live in a trailer, and all of a sudden she was appointed to the Senate. I think that's great, but that system is gone, unfortunately. Now you apply as a job. But the important thing is, yes, you have to study, you have to work hard, but make friends, because that was how I got things done. Okay. Can I, yeah, sorry. Yeah, speaking.
Dr. Poi, I was wondering, like throughout your journey in really gaining recognition for the Asian community within Canada, I was wondering what you could really, if there was something you could do differently, what would that thing be?
Sorry, can you speak louder? I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
I was really wondering what you would, if there was something you could do differently within your journey, what would that thing be? Or like, what would you change about it if you could?
You mean with what I did before?
Yeah.
I wouldn't change anything. I would not, because what I did it for others. I never did anything for myself. So, I know that I had put in all my effort with really everything with my heart and soul. So, no, there wouldn't be anything that I would want to change. Thank you. Oh, over there, please. Yeah.
Dr. Poi, I have a question. If, do you think that if you were unable to become a senator, would Asian Canadians be as represented today without your contributions?
Can you reword that? If I were not a senator?
If you were unable to become senator, do you think Asian Canadians would be as represented today?
I'm not sure. I am not sure at all. I just knew that if I didn't do a good job, I would give Asian Canadians a bad name. And that could really retard, the appointment to the Senate. So I just had to do a good job.
more question over here.
Senator Poi, nice to meet you. I'm just curious, you made mention of the fact that at 75, you were no longer a senator because of the age restriction. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's something that we should revisit? And if not, is this a representation of discrimination against the elderly?
Okay, first of all, I retired early. I did not, I retired when I was 71 and not when I turned 75 because I was already there for 14 years and I think that was long enough. It was time to move out of the way and let somebody else take the seat. No, I think that, no, I think I'm totally okay with age 75. Because when I was there, there were senators, even though with the retirement age, there were senators who'd been there for 30-odd years. And they were hardly ever in the chamber. So, you know, I think that, you know, the first 10 years were the most important. And you can carry on, but to me, 14 years was long enough, and I don't think there is there's any discrimination against seniors, because from my observation, a lot of the older senators didn't do very much.
Dr. Poi, thank you for coming today and sharing your inspiring story. I'm in my 40s and I was very inspired by what you shared. Many of the youth here may be interested in aspiring business as you know, entrepreneurship, small business owners. What advice do you have to them as they look to the horizon of Canada in terms of perhaps, you know, becoming a small business owner or pursuing something in business?
I think you have to try. You know, first of all, you have to believe in yourself. And I just want to mention that I trained as a fashion designer for 3 years full-time at Seneca. And that was in between my BA and my master's and PhD. So in between, I did the fashion. And I remember my dad saying that it doesn't matter what you do, it could be absolutely wonderful, but unless people are willing to pay for it, it is only a hobby. And that made me go ahead and have my business. And it's very difficult. You know, it's really difficult. It was a big, you need a lot of strength and a lot of nerves to do that. And you need to know how to promote yourself in whatever you did, in whatever you want to do. But you have to try it, have to do it, okay?
Hello, I wanted to ask, after all you've accomplished, is there something else you want to accomplish once more?
I'm glad you asked. Yes, there are things I still want to do. I love writing, and it would be nice to be, one day, even at my age, to be recognized as an excellent writer. I'm still getting there. I learned to write by writing, and I have seen improvement in my books as I progressed, but I don't think I've got there yet. So it would be the next challenge for me.
Yeah, can I ask another question?
Yeah.
Hello. What do you like to write about?
Haven't decided yet, but it has to be something that I know. You can't write about something you don't know, right? So life experience, I guess.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for telling us your story. And I was wondering, is there any further change you'd like to see from the next generation in Asian inclusivity?
Absolutely. I want everybody to feel that they are, it doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter what your skin color is, that you are a part of Canada, that you have equal rights, you have equal access to everything in Canada. That is what I want to see. And because I mentioned that, because you, in what I said earlier, there's always xenophobia, and it doesn't matter, you know, the unfortunate thing with Asians or anybody of color, that just because they look different, they could have been in Canada for generations, and they could still be viewed as, oh, you're a newcomer. You know, you come to get our jobs, or you do whatever, but they're not. And I want to be able to see that. I may not live to see that, but I want that for the future generations.
Hello, Dr. Poi. You're such an inspiration, but if you had to choose one thing that you've achieved that you're the most proud of, what would that be?
So that I would be able to what? To accomplish?
You've achieved so much, but if you had to choose something that you were the most proud of, what would that be?
As a mother.
Dr. Poi, it's a great honor to meet you. But what advice would you give someone of a different ethnic background who aspires to achieve similar results to you?
Do exactly the same. Okay, and when I say Asian heritage, it's because I'm Asian, and from my observation, Asians had always been the underdog in Canada. But that happens to other ethnicities as well. And you need to just be proud of your heritage. Always, always be proud of your heritage. And work hard, make friends, and move forward.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Doctor, so first, I think thank you so much for so many years' efforts to improve the Asians, how should I say, to improve the Asians' identities in Canada. Also, I have a personal question. So, except for that governments set those celebration days to make them identities us, is there any other way to do this, to let them identity and recognize and understanding Asians more?
What do you mean other identities?
I mean, not other identity, other ways to let the government identity Asians people.
I don't
understanding,
quite understand. Yeah, I'm sorry.
How should I say?
It's okay. It's okay.
Sorry, because I'm still an ESL student, so I can't speak that word.
No, it's all right.
More like them an identification.
Sorry. Yeah.
He's asking what is the other way, other than through government, could Asians get representation?
So I believe his question was,
yes,
apart from government recognition and representation, how are some other ways that Asian
Canadian identities can be recognized and
Okay, thank you. Well, to begin with, you need the federal government recognition because they're at the very top. And then, of course, it filters down to other levels of government. But from my experience, a lot of other organizations are recognizing this now. Just as an example, yesterday I spoke at a trade union, Ontario Public Workers Trade Union. So all these other organizations, I actually speak to a lot of unions over the years, and also the different levels of government, even in the military, they ask me to speak. And so everybody is on to, the recognition. And that's extremely important. So to begin with, it has to be from the top, it has to be from the federal government. And then it sort of filters down. And now there are more and more organizations doing the same thing. Even with big businesses, last year I spoke at Starbucks with their employees. Same thing. A lot of private businesses is doing the same thing. And schools, of course. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So great to see how many questions there are for Dr. Vivian Poi here. This is amazing. I think we have time for one last question before we wrap this section up. Saw this hand up first.
Hello, Dr. Poi. I just have a really general question. What would be one advice you would give to someone who wants to pursue this kind of career, or an advice that you wish you received earlier when you were younger, for example?
What does that mean? Sorry. Oh, in the public sector? You mean in the public sector? Oh. I didn't seek to work in the public sector. I was drawn into it by being appointed to the Senate, because that was the biggest surprise of my life. But that was an opportunity that I could take on. However, if you want to get involved, volunteer in different public sectors. And you will, if you like it, you get notice, and then that can carry on to other levels, because that is really the best way to reach out to your community and to make friends. Just start with volunteering, okay?
Thanks so much for answering all of our questions today. We love that you've taken your time and really appreciate that. We would love to thank you here with this flower to show our support.
Thank you.